Welcome to the Vendée Globe Race Village. Underneath all this kit, I am Pip Hare, skipper of Medallia. And I know that many of you this year can't get to the race village to see this incredible display of 33 boats that are going to be racing in this year's Vendée Globe. So I thought we'd take this opportunity to show you around the village, some of the highlights, some of the designs, a bit of the backstory. And because I'm the world's worst pundit, I have with me Encyclopedia Larsen, who is going to give us a bit more knowledge about each boat as we go around.
Okay, all right, we've got 33 boats to go through here, spanning 1995 to early this year. So there's many different takes on the concept of what it takes to get a individual around the world non-stop on a 60-foot IMOCA boat. We're going to start straight away with the first boat. We're going to go in order down the dock here, 33 boats. And the first boat here is a boat called Stark, ex-mini sailor.
Yeah, Ari, he's the first ever Finnish sailor to compete in the Vendée Globe. You can see his Finnish flag on the back there.
And it's an Owen Clark design. I think this was Dee's boat, is that correct?
It was a Viva originally, yeah, in 2008.
And a sister ship to Mike Golding's Ecover. A few little additions, extensions on the back to make it more comfortable, but largely the same boat. The original rig with all his supporters written down the mast there. And
it's a good solid boat.
A good, solid, reliable boat. Yeah. And right beside it now, we're moving on to the next generation of boats. And the first ones, or the ones starting to come out with the first type of lifting foils out the side. So whilst on Stark here, you've got the vertical foils. Here the foils are now coming out the side. More crew protection built into it. This is Fabrice Amedeo, and it's a VPLP Verdier design, and a next step up in speed with the deck spreaders to help support the rig and the load and give extra places to sheet your head sails out to. This is a very well prepared and should be quite a quick little boat.
And the interesting thing to note here is the shape of these foils, because as we go round you'll see how different the foil shapes are.
You can see the little bubbles he's got in the back. He'll be sitting in there with his head just up in that little bubble to steer. But already we're moving on to boats with a little bit more comfort because there's a little bit more pace there.
So moving on, this is Stéphane de la Raison.
Time for Oceans.
Yeah, another foiler we can see.
It's a Fino Conch design, and this boat was the old double bubble Hugo Boss design. This was the one that I believe had the incident on their arrival to the Vendée where they were hit by a fishing boat just out by the entrance there, and then had problems with delamination. I think this was the one where he was sailing along and you could actually see the carbon streaming out the back as if it was seaweed hanging off. So
not fun.
No. He's done a number of laps since then on this one, but he's got rid of the double bubble and rebuilt the coach roof and everything back here. And once again, should be a very quick boat. I think the foils are a new addition on this one, or they are a new addition.
Okay, so we're moving on now to Alexia. So one of the 6 women competing, and Alexia is in a boat that's a similar age to mine. In fact, there seems to be some disagreement about this, but I think this boat is older than mine. And it's been 5 times around the world, and mine's only been 4, I think. I think this has done more laps than anyone. I think let's see, is she not heading off on her? This set, yes. The veteran boat 6 sets out on its 7th lap. That's incredible. Yeah. So well, pretty similar to me. She's got minimal shelter in the cockpit there, but her cockpit's a bit bigger than mine. The big difference is that Alexia has asymmetric dagger boards and I have a single one in front of my mast. But I think we're going to be racing fairly closely on this one. All right, here's a boat many of you will remember as being Ellen MacArthur's Kingfisher. So another Owen Clark design. This went around originally with Ellen in 2000. Was a very, and still considered for its generation, of that generation, probably the quickest boat of that year. So it's still one not to be sneezed at. Yeah.
And another one that will be of the same vintage as Pip's boat. So one she'll be looking out for on the water.
And this year it's been sailed by Didac Costa. He's a Spanish fireman and he's worked really, really hard to get to the line this year. He finished in this boat in 2016. And actually, Didac is another mini sailor, so I raced against him in 2011 Mini Transat. And in total, out of all the skippers in the Vendée, 18 of us started in minis, which is pretty impressive, I think.
He's changed the coach roof since Ellen's days, but yeah, should be a reliable boat. Okay.
So we're on to Pure Best Western. This is Romain Attanasio, who is also Sam Davis's partner. So it's the first time ever in a Vendée that a couple are racing against each other, which I think is pretty phenomenal.
It's this was boat Gitana 80, sailed by the legend himself, Lloyd Peyron, that was leading the Vendée in its first participation until he was dismasted down off south of Africa. But this is a very well prepared boat. His partner Sam Davies is going around as well. So Grandpa and Grandma will be looking after Junior, and it's going to be a good race between those two. Sam's got the pace, but I don't know how competitive they are amongst each other.
So we've moved on to Sebastian Destromo on his second Vendée. Interesting thing I think about this boat is how massive the cockpit is. I think I wouldn't be that keen in a cockpit that big, actually. It's a long, very unprotected, long way to fall. I think lots of water's going to come through there.
Well, his background, it's 4 America's Cups,
Yeah.
6 Flying Dutchman World Championships. So maybe that harks to his America's Cup days, that he's going to have more imaginary friends than most than most of us sharing the journey with him. But a relatively simple boat, and interestingly, Seb is flying under the Australian flag for this one. So no Australian has finished the Vendée yet. So let's see if he can carry that flag all the way.
Excellent.
Okay, now it gets interesting. All right, might as well stand here so we can get our heads around this beast. This is Archaea Paprec. This is a 1K design boat of the latest generation. You can see those massive curved foils there, which the only other boat to have foils same as that is Hugo Boss. One of the ideas of those foils is that they can largely raise them out of the water. Because of the even curvature in the shape, they can retract them, as you see there. So in light winds, they can get them out of the water. That's just one of the concepts there. These boats are fast. We're talking speeds in the mid 30 knots. 30 knots isn't that uncommon. The crushes and the deaccelerations are crazy, and the protection that they need for the helmsman down there. I think we're in a transition this year where these boats, how people survive on these around the world and through the Southern Ocean, is going to be interesting.
And is this the one with the backwards facing seat?
I think there's a couple of backwards facing seats in here. Some of these fast boats we're going to see up here are up to their 7th generation of seat, just to protect the helmsman. And it's not just sitting in there and protecting yourself. I mean, they're wearing body armour, they're using stuff that you'd normally see on the rugby field. It's also just boiling a cup of water that becomes difficult when you're going at that pace. So it's going to be a wild ride.
And this one is being sailed by Sebastian Simon, who is a previous winner of the Figure class.
Just look at some of the funky shapes they've got down here for the shape in the deck and the valleys in the deck. And the shape of the bow there, how it's got this chiseled profile and really fat lower section there. It's a fascinating boat to look at. This was actually, its first race was the Fastnet that we did last year. So that was the one that actually followed our path inshore and was the first one to come across to us, if you remember, and tacked up around Land's End with us.
Been ahead of him.
Yeah, so we've seen that bow, it was behind us. Right, Bureau Valley.
Okay, so this is sailed
Louis
by
Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. And how many has Louis done? This is his
Third Vendée.
third, yeah.
Yep, third Vendée. I think one finished, and this is the last winner in 2016. This is the old Bank Pop.
So this was Bank Populaire.
Yeah. So this is a rapid boat, and you can see once again that everyone has gone for more protection. He's even added a soft cuddy at the back there to make it so he can be fully enclosed if he wants to be.
Straight over.
And I guess some of the boats that we find are funny when you go in there is that you can't stand upright, but then their argument to that is, well, when the boat's heeling,
you're never standing upright.
You're never standing upright.
And they've stuck with the smaller foils, so these are the Dali foils, yeah?
No, well, I called them that, but the Dali are the new massive ones. So these are just, I think, Gen 1 foils. And you can see he's got the kick-up rudders at the back there. And he's also got his outrigger poles out the back, but we'll discuss them later. But yeah, quick boat. I don't think he's got the sliding coach roof in.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Does it slide inside, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's neat. So he's got a convertible, that whole back bit can slide in when he takes the covers off. So quite neat, both choices.
Okay, Benjamin Destrameau.
Now this boat has done a lot of laps. This has got a lot of history. It was built by Offshore Challengers in Cowes and originally came out as Estrella Dam.
Wow, that's a nice cockpit. I like that.
This is a nice boat, and it's always been a fast boat, this one. It's got the chines at the back, and it's also up the front. It's got some strakes like a powerboat to help separate the spray coming off the bow away from the boat. It's got this had a sliding coach roof on the top. I don't know if it's still got it. Looks like it might still be there. But this boat has been around a lot of times. Everyone's had a pop on this boat, and it's usually got them around at pace.
Yeah,
but
it's nice. And actually, so when we finished the TJV and we were all moored up in Salvador in Brazil, Benji was on the end, and a local fishing boat, completely out of control, did a couple of spins and then smacked into the side of him. Luckily, just missing the bulkhead underneath the shrouds. It was awful. Everybody running to help, but the great thing was all of the teams pulled together to get this fixed, and he sailed it back to the UK. So all the shore teams flying out bought extra resin with them, extra carbon. It went to a local yard, got fixed up, and then he sailed it home on his own for his qualifier for the Vendée.
So, I mean, this won the Route de Rhum in 2010. Seb Joss had it as BT Ocean. It sailed as Estrella again. It sailed as Hugo Boss. Koji had it when he dismasted in the Indian Ocean.
It's got some history.
Yeah. This one is one of the boats that knows its way around.
And here's a person who knows his way around.
Yeah.
So this is Arnaud Bossier, La Micaline. La Micaline is, we call it French Greg's.
Because that's what it is. Yeah, I guess. Yep.
And they've sponsored Arnaud for quite a while, haven't they? I think. And this is his fourth Vendée.
I think he's already been around four times, hasn't he? You could be right there, but he's always finished. Yep. At his own pace, a very popular character, and I think he's going for, is it his fifth, or this could be his fourth? But it's fourth Vendée, always finished.
And he's a local guy, so he is from Les Sables d'Olonne, so they're very much behind him.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to La Fabrique. So this is Alain Rohrer, a Swiss sailor. He had my boat last time around in 2012, and he became the youngest person ever to finish the Vendée then, finishing at the age of 23, having replaced a rudder in the middle of the Southern Ocean. So it's a great story. His sponsor, La Fabrique, just loved what he did so much that they continued on with this project, and now he's in the old Brit Air with some foils and going quite a bit faster.
And Brit Air is a fast boat. That did quite well in the Vendée. It finished, from what I remember. It was up in the sharp end of the fleet.
So it's a Fino Conch, isn't it?
I haven't got that on this one.
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so on to Banque Populaire. This is the fastest non-foiling boat in the fleet. set sail by another one of the ladies, Clarisse Kremer. So Clarisse, a mini sailor, she came second in the mini in 2017, and then went on to become the skipper of Banque Populaire at the beginning of 2019, trained by Armel Leclerc, who won, of course, in 2016. So Clarisse has gone incredibly well prepared boat. It was the old SMA which took the winning place for the Route de Rhum after Alex Thomson crashed.
And
Hugo
it also
Boss.
was Gabar's boat, Merci, in 2012, and that I think was the first sub-80 day lap of the planet, which was 78 days or so, which is an incredibly impressive thing. This boat is always nipping at the heels of the foilers. If you sneeze on a foiler, this boat will be right at you. It's a good all-round boat. It's immaculately prepared under the guidance of the Banque Pop team and Armel Leclerc, and it's I think this is still going to
one to watch.
Punch above its
sure.
weight. Beautiful boat. Once again, sliding coach roof in the forward position now that slides back and the canopy comes back.
So interesting thing looking at it from here is how far out her dagger boards are.
Yep.
When you look at the other ones.
They're as the boat is healing, that is, this is on the, say, the Kingfisher generation, the boards were out to give you more bite in the water, so they'll be vertical when you're healing. Now when the boat heals, this starts to generate a little bit of lift. And this was the first step towards lifting the boat, and then we went to the next generation to give lift, and then you go to the ones which are outright foilers, which we're going to get up to in here. So I guess this is the difference here, a little bit of lift here, and this is the next generation of foilers where they really committed to them. What you can't see with these foils is they're all in the retracted position on the docks now. They pull a string there, and these foils come right out to the side here. So they're actually stowed away at the moment. They only sail with them like that in light conditions. Even when they're sailing, even the windward foil, they put out, because that's like putting someone on trapeze. That puts all that weight out there and gives the boat more stability. We had a tour of this one the other day.
It's a pretty nice boat.
It's very well prepared. It's been around a few times. Yannick Besteven and Maitre Coq, and it is very sorted. Yannick Besteven is also a very successful ex-mini sailor, won the Mini Transat in 2001, and he is the father of the company that provides all these little propellers. They're not outboards on the back, they're hydro generators. You can see the two black propellers and shafts hanging off the back of Banque Pop over there, and that's his business. And many of the boats are carrying that and trying to save weight from carrying generators and diesel, and it's a nod to the more eco credentials of the power generation on these boats.